Welcome back to another X Theme tutorial. This is part 6. Thank you so much for making it this far. And today, while you get your computers and your internet and your WordPress is ready, I'm going to go over the features that we're going to cover today. And that'll also help if you want to jump around from video to video. I encourage that, even though I recommend you watch them all at some point. So we're going to make today this shopping cart icon with the $sign in the upper right hand corner. We're going to change the logo font and the nav font because we got kind of sick of it. We're going to set up these image sliders, which are nice and small, and showcase the products people can find when they click our buttons. Each button is different. And moving down, we're going to also learn how to set up the footer. Just a simple two-tone footer with some links, a button, and this logo, again with the same logo font. I'll show you how to do all of that. Got you covered, and definitely a lot more as we stumble upon it. You just gotta watch. Sorry, by the way, for my antics in some of the previous tutorials. I think I was getting a little bit tired late at night with those relatives, but I have a full cup of coffee here next to me, so we should be good, and we have a lot of work to do. But we should all be excited. We also have part 5 ready to go right here. It's done processing in YouTube in my little editor screen that you get as a publisher if you've ever done that. I don't know why my mouse got so big right there. But we can hit publish and that'll go live. It's kind of cool we can do that together here. It's not the best time. It's 12:41 a.m. my time right now. But hopefully folks will see that in the morning when you guys wake up. So I want to start today by adding the cart icon to the menu in the upper right. I know a lot of people have asked for that. And once you install WooCommerce, it's pretty easy. You just go to our customize window and we click WooCommerce and then turn that navbar menu on. Alright, so you get something that looks like this in the upper right hand corner, and it's gray and then black on hover with the shopping cart. We can customize how it looks, of course. Not sure exactly what all these little radio boxes mean, but you have to play around. And I like rounded, inline is good, stack looked a little funny. The usual slew of colors as well. So let's save and publish and play around with that. The next thing I wanted to do, which I mentioned in the previous tutorial, was adding a Facebook like box to the shop page in the right hand sidebar and replacing these widgets. If you want to do that, I have a tutorial already made on adding the new Facebook page plugin. It's a 2-step process instead of 1. I'm not sure why they changed it. Maybe things were crashing on Facebook's end, but just click right in the box right here to learn that tutorial and to show off some social proof with your Facebook like box, aka your page in the right hand side. What we're going to do instead though is make our cart full width, just by checking this button, full width for shop layout. Save and publish that, and now our shop, if we refresh, should span the full width, and that gives people more space to look at our amazing products. I'm also going to change this logo font because honestly I'm just sick of it at this point, and I think a lot of times when we look at something for too long we get sick of it. So I'm going to go to our typography in Customizer, and I'm going to choose a nice font I picked out called Patrona. There we go, and I want it a little bit bigger. Always a multiple of 4 is a good idea. Might as well make that navbar font the same now. Looking good, and maybe a little bit bigger. Again, a multiple of 4 is smart. There we go. And we can always change the white space above and below later, and also change the H1 and other headings font and size later if you want in this same section. Refresh, and we're looking good. And I'm confident we're learning a lot of X theme skills now that will apply to a lot of your websites, which by the way I can't wait to see. Just post a link to them in the comments on YouTube if you want me and everyone else to check them out. You just got to be able to handle the critiques, which we could all use a little bit more of. Alright, so now we're going to head back to the home page. And let's clean up our meat and potatoes section, which is section 2, because I've said many times before, that's going to be our most important section for getting those conversions, which I know is kind of a spammy word, but getting basically people to do what we want on our website. Alright, so in Cornerstone, click on that brick icon and open up meat and potatoes. And I want to add a image gallery right beneath each one of these buttons to show people what they get when they visit each button, a little preview. I want to have an image gallery of televisions, image gallery accessories, and an image gallery of sales. And I think that's going to be nice for our user experience. To add in those galleries, aka those sliders, we're going to click back to bricks because we can't just drag and drop sliders into a block grid, even though I wish we could. We actually need a new little stealth section. Let's add that section. Now in your layout window, just grab section 7, click with your mouse and hold to drag up right below meat and potatoes, and it should adjust in our viewer on the right. Might take a second. Alright, very cool. Let's click on the section box outside the inner column and set this to 3 rows in layout, or 3 columns rather, 3 columns. Alright, and so right away each of these columns lines up with our buttons above. Now we just have to drag and drop those sliders from our elements. Alright, so the sliders are actually called slider. So we're going to drag 1, 2, 3, and I think this is going to be really cool once we're done. We just got to put those images in and make sure they're the right size now. So let's click on our first slider and it will open up slides. So each one of these, slide 1 and slide 2, applies to each individual one of these. So at the moment we have 6 slides, 2 per slider, and we're going to add more slides for each slider. Settings here get a little confusing because there's so many of them, so just follow along. We're going to open up one slide and delete the demo image. Alright, now let's click this media button and choose the right images for your slider, which you've hopefully uploaded, like this overhead television. I don't want to link to anything because I don't want people to be able to click the images. Medium's a great size, and click insert into post. And the first image will show up. To get back to the slides view, just click the slider link, and then for slide 2 we want to do the same thing. Grab another image, insert into post. We can manually delete the link too just by deleting the A tag, which I like doing for some reason. Alright, and now slide 3 is going to contain another image. Click media, and let's grab this image of the television with the model standing next to it. Again, no link, insert into post. And now when we save, we should have a slider gallery right below shop televisions. If we don't touch anything, it should move on its own. And there we go. The one concern is that if your images are different sizes, it makes the whole site move when the next image loads, which is taller than the previous one. To fix that, we can do something that web developers do, which is surrounding an image with a div. You just have to write div style equals height of maybe 300 pixels, and you just set to one constant height for that div, assuming you do close it, which you have to with the close div tag. Alright, so if you do that to each image in one slider, we're just going to paste that in, close the div, slider, paste that in, close the div, and then save. Now the result on our site will be consistently sized images because we're forcing them to be consistently sized. Alright, so I hope that makes sense. If you want to, do that, you just have to manually add a div, or you can resize the images in Pixlr.com or in Photoshop so they're exactly the same size when you upload them. Whatever ends up being easier for you. Alright, so let's work on our other two sliders. Back to Cornerstone and just click on the slider you want to edit. It won't move the slider or anything, it'll just open up the slider window on your left. And let's replace that dummy image. Alright, so this is going to be our accessories, like our fish tank. Got a new fish stand, and I actually made this image a bit wider on Pixlr.com so that it looks a little bit sharper. Insert into post. Now save. And now we can work on slider 3 just to keep things moving. So let's change slide 1. These are our sale items. Add media. First sale item is this 2000s TV. Alright, so no link, no custom URL. Medium size is perfect for these sorts of small sliders. Insert into post. Slider link, slide 2. Delete the demo image, click media, and then we want our 90s television, which I personally had and loved. I don't know if you've ever used one of these, but a lot of sentimental value held there. And now we're going to go back to slider and get rid of things like our container. Increase that animation speed, slideshow on, and we'll also offset those images so these ones move first, second, third. I'll give people a lot to look at, and no container. Save. And we should be in business now when we refresh our site. We have 3 beautiful slider galleries which show off the products that people can get to when they click our feature meat and potato buttons. Remember, if you want to change the spacing between any sections at any time, you can do that with padding in Cornerstone, or you can add your own CSS now that we know how to do a little bit of that. But it is your own real estate on your own website, so make the most use out of it and don't be afraid of empty space. Looks like we need a shop accessories button, so let's go to our shop and let's take a look here at an accessories item, which should bring up our category link for accessories. Click that, and then I'm going to copy the URL for product category accessories and then add that in to our meat and potatoes section. In block grid item 2, I'm just going to replace the href so that that link goes to the right place, and save. Scintillating. Alright, so we've blown past the 10-minute estimated length of each video, and we might as well finish off one more part after all the anticipation and amidst allegations that we might never do this part. We're going to create our footer. We can go to our customizer, and in footer, let's enable 4 widget areas. That won't really create anything yet though. And we're going to be editing the footer content. For now, just save and publish though, and go back. And now we're going to go to widgets, and we can add widgets to the footer from this section. Our inspiration for the footer is coming from Casper.com. I really like this site. I've bought their products before, and I love how the footer is laid out with two-tone coloring and just the logo and the menus. We don't have an email subscription form, but you can use Aweber for that, and they'll really provide a good service. I use them on my blogs, and we need some social media. Let's use Casper as an example for our footer. Alright, so let's start building. In footer 1, we can add widget, and let's go ahead and give ourselves a text widget. To get even close to creating all the styles we see in this sort of footer, we're going to need the visual editor in our footer widgets. And to get the visual editor, we need to install a plugin. So we can go to plugins, add new, and just do a search for tiny MCE like that with no spaces. And we want this plugin right here with this little face icon and Black Studio with 700,000 installs. Install now, activate, and now in our customizer window, if we refresh, we should have more widgets available to choose from for our footer. Back to widgets, footer 1, click add widget, and now we should have the visual editor. It's alphabetized, and there he is. Alright, so grab visual editor, and now I just want to put our logo for the far left footer widget column, which in this case is just X Theme Demo. Alright, and you're going to have a better logo than that. And let's put this in a heading 1 so it's large, and in the text tab I'm just going to try to add a style with some basic CSS. Style equals font family Patrona. I'm going to see if that'll get the same font family as our main logo. Alright, and close. Let's go back now, and in footer 2 we want sort of a menu list with a title, and that could be our about menu or our support menu or our showrooms menu, but we mainly just have a few pages now for a shop and a couple about things, so we can sort of think ahead towards what you might be making. Let's grab another visual editor, and let's just call this about, and I'm gonna write in some basic content that you will hopefully have on your site as it develops, like press and team and maybe mission, careers, and maybe even contact. That's a decent place for a contact page. Let's give these words a bulleted list, and we're pretty much set for this widget. You would just need to link those pages once you make them. And close. And now let's try footer 3. Add widget, visual editor. Let's give ourselves something like for the shop. Where are we? Let's give ourselves a shop menu. So in this case we'll have things like televisions, accessories, sale, cart, the standard WooCommerce of pages like my account, and checkout. Alright, one more bulleted list. Close. Back. If you wanted to add a button to the footer, you could do so pretty easily by grabbing a shortcode from the Integrity site, or you can just copy one of the buttons we used in Cornerstone, like one of these buttons. We could grab the Shop Televisions button if we want. We're just going to have to edit it a little bit. And for now, let's put that in footer 4 because we don't have any social media or a email subscription yet. So let's just paste in that button in the text tab. Alright, and I'm going to delete the icon for comment. And I think that icon makes sense right there, and we're going to have to get rid of it elsewhere too. And then let's just make this link go to our shop because I want this to say hit the store. Alright, and the title of this is going to be what are you doing down here? Let's see how that all looks if we close and then save and publish. Alright, and now let's check out the site. All the way down to the footer, hopefully we have something decent. And we actually did alright. We have a nice text logo and a menu with those bulleted lists automatically formatting into this nice menu structure. Again, you just have to set those links normally through the visual editor, and a button, which will take us to hopefully our shop. Excellent. We are in business. If you want to edit this section at the very bottom, which I feel like we're going to need to do, let's go back to customize and let's see how to do that. Back, and I believe that's in footer. All the way at the bottom you have this footer content box, and Xtheme has written out some code which basically assigns links and titles, and I don't understand it fully, so I'm going to delete it, which is usually a good option when you don't understand something. And then it's gone, and so if we wanted to create a feature like Casper, you can just get the copyright sign online, or you could just actually copy it from wherever you see it, and that text will come in. Pretty simple. And then we can just start writing. Maybe you have something like all rights reserved, and then your business address, like, you know, New York. And as you keep typing, that will go all the way across the page, which makes it pretty easy to achieve this sort of effect. If you have a phone number and a contact us, that's all possible. Save and publish. And now the last step for our footer is changing the colors. Even though I really do like white, I wonder what you might like here, and if you want some colors that fit our current style, it's going to be like a red and a darker red. Alright, so let's see how we might do that. To figure out how to change the background color in our footer, we're going to need to go into Inspect Element, and we can right click anywhere on our site. In Chrome, Inspect Element works really well for looking at the HTML and the CSS behind the scenes. You just need to find the footer, which will be highlighted in the window above this little element inspector. See how we're highlighting in blue the footer, which is usually footer with this terminology right here. Alright, so it looks like footer is what we want, and then below it we have this X colophon bottom, and we can see that we can hopefully change some of the items like the padding or the text line. Now generally what we want to do is write in these CSS selectors in our CSS window. Right? So we can remember these words, X colophon bottom and X colophon top, and come back to our customizer window. And then in CSS, which is in custom, we can make ourselves some more spaces and write in .x. Alright, sorry about that. I had to jump away on the web to an article on CSS tricks where we target multiple class selectors, which is kind of crazy sounding. Bottom line is we want to write our CSS like this, because .x-colophon targets the entire footer, the upper and the lower section, whereas .x-colophon.bottom will target just the lower section. And we could probably do a little better if we write in maybe a color for our text so we can see it a little bit more easily. I don't have a color wheel open for background color, but you can easily find a CSS color wheel online, probably on W3 Schools. There it is. And we can get a darker red. Alright, you just grab the right hex, which will come up automatically, and then type that in, and you'll have yourself a color just straight away. It is that easy. Well, it's not that easy, but now we know how to do it, it's a little bit easier. We can see that even after all that work, it might not be worth it to use these background colors, but at least you know how to reset the background color of both parts of the footer now, if you choose to do so. That red is just too much for us right now. Alright, so let's save and publish, and our footer is complete. We did a great job. I'm going to stop designing the footer right there just because I think you have a good start now on how to add widgets and customize the way they look. And I know there's going to be more questions which I'll have to handle on the fly as you have new ideas for what to put in that footer and how to make it look perfect for your site. So just let me know those questions in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Wow, that was a longer tutorial than I expected. And I hope you don't feel overwhelmed by X Theme. I know I have, but as we keep building, I think the end goal is going to be a really powerful website that you can show off to your friends and your clients and colleagues. I'll see you guys in part 7, where I'm sure we'll get into more trouble and tie together some of the loose ends of this website and tackle any questions you might have on your X Theme website. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.